Hey everyone, you are listening to Aruna Suresh in my podcast, The Universe Within Me. In my podcast, I share motivational and inspirational stories and at times real life stories and trending topics too. I do take interviews of people, those who want to share their success stories with me. And if you like it, click the button like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any suggestions, do write to me at podcastaruna@gmail.com. And the episode begins. The title of today's episode is Can You Hear a Pin Drop? I got this through WhatsApp and it goes like this. What is the meaning of pin drop silence? Following are some instances when silence could speak louder than voice. Take 1. Field Marshal Sam Bahadur Manekshaw once started addressing a public meeting at Ahmedabad in English. The crowd started chanting, "Speak in Gujarati, speak in Gujarati. We will hear you only if you speak in Gujarati." Field Marshal Manekshaw stopped, swept the audience with a hard stare and replied, "Friends, I have fought many battles in my long career. I have learned Punjabi from men of Sikh regiment, Marathi from Maratha regiment, Tamil from the men of Madras, and Bengali from the men of Bengal, Hindi from Bihar regiment, and even Nepali from Gurkha regiment. Unfortunately, there was no soldier from Gujarat from whom I could have learnt Gujarati. Now you could have heard a pin drop. Take 2. Robert Whiting, an elderly US gentleman of 83, arrived in Paris by plane. At French customs, he took a few minutes to locate his passport in his carry-on. "You have been to France before?" the customs officer asked sarcastically. Mr. Whiting admitted that he had been to France previously. The customs officer then asked, "Then you should know enough to have your passport ready." The American said, "The last time I was here, I didn't have to show it." So the customs officer said, "Impossible. Americans always have to show their passports on arrival in France." He sneered. The American senior gave the Frenchman a long and a hard look. Then he quietly explained, "Well, when I came ashore at Omaha Beach at 4:40 a.m. on D-Day in 1944 to help liberate your country, I couldn't find a single Frenchman to show his passport to anyone." Now you could have heard a pin drop. Take 3. Soon after getting freedom from British rule in 1947, the de facto Prime Minister of India, Jawaharlal Nehru ji, called a meeting of senior army officers to select the first general of the Indian Army. Nehru proposed, "I think we should appoint a British officer as the general of the Indian Army, as we don't have enough experience to lead the same." Having learned under the British only to serve and rarely to lead, all the civilians and men in uniform present nodded their heads in agreement. However, one senior officer, Nathu Singh Rathod, asked for permission to speak. Nehruji was a bit taken aback by the independent streak of the officer, though he asked him to speak freely. Rathod said You see, sir, we don't have enough experience to lead a nation too. So, shouldn't we appoint a British person as the first Prime Minister of India? Now, you could hear a pin drop. After a pregnant pause, Nehruji asked Rathod, "Are you ready to be the first general of the Indian Army?" Rathod declined the offer, saying, "Sir, we have a very talented army officer, my senior, General Cariappa, who is the most deserving amongst us." This is how the brilliant General Cariappa became the first general and Rathod the first ever lieutenant general of the Indian Army. Many thanks to Lieutenant General Niranjan Maulik, retired. I hope you really enjoyed listening to this, and thank you so much for listening.